Data is the lifeblood of modern organizations, and organizations are collecting data at an exponential rate. But how do you effectively and securely share data between different parts of your organization? How about across organizational boundaries? In today's session, we'll talk about how Equifax is leveraging the Google Data Cloud to enable scalable and secure data sharing. We'll also announce some new capabilities coming for the Google Data Cloud that you can use to scale data sharing within your organization. My name is Brian Welker, Group Product Manager on the BigQuery team. I'm excited to be joined in a bit by Kumar Menon, SVP of Data Fabric and Decision Sciences Tech at Equifax. First, a little bit about the potential of shared data. We're seeing an increased demand for shared data, and that's the ability to exchange data with external organizations. And when surveyed, data professionals responded with a need to increase their use of shared data. In addition, the ability for companies to successfully exchange data correlates to higher levels of innovation. Now, despite this increased demand and the benefits that come with it, sharing data across organizational boundaries is hard. Efforts at data sharing are hamstrung by unreliable data sources and costly processes. So I'd like to bring on Kumar to talk about data sharing initiatives at Equifax. Welcome, Kumar.
Hi, Brian. Thank you for having me.
Now, while most people are probably familiar with Equifax, can you tell me a little bit about the Equifax business and how you're leveraging the Google Data Cloud?
Sure. Equifax, as most people know, we are a credit bureau, and we are one of the three biggest credit bureaus in the world. However, we like to think of ourselves more than just a credit bureau. We are a data and analytics and technology company at heart, and our goal is to really enable our customers with the very high fidelity data that we have, and help them make key decisions as they serve their customers and make business and do business. So that's really our goal, and data is the crux of that goal.
I know that data sharing is a top priority for you at Equifax. Can you tell me a little bit about your goals for sharing data?
Sure. At Equifax, we obviously collect a lot of data from different domains, and this means collecting data about a particular entity. If you take consumer as an example, we collect data about a consumer, the credit information about a consumer. We collect employment and income information about a consumer. We collect utility payment records about a consumer. It's about bringing all this data together in a governed, compliant, and permissible fashion, and then being able to develop insights that will enable our customers make decisions. So there is an aspect of sharing this data within different teams within our organization. However, the most, I would say, one of the key parts of our business is our ability to share this data with our customers. And when you do it outside the organization, you have to do it again in a compliant fashion, ensuring that we meet the permissible data use requirements set forth by the different governing bodies, and ensuring privacy and, of course, security. So this becomes an interesting challenge for us, and we pride ourselves in being able to co-innovate with our customers, and data becomes a key part of that co-innovation process. So really, sharing data is absolutely paramount to our success.
Great. You said compliance is one of the challenges that you face in sharing data. Are there any other challenges that you've seen around sharing data at Equifax or with other organizations?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the biggest challenges is the cost, of actually moving data around. As you move data around to different environments, enabling customers ability to look at different cuts of the data, that is costly. Obviously, as you move data, the cost of governance increases, and then your threat, vector in terms of the amounts of data that you have lying across the enterprise or across shareable infrastructure increases. So this is definitely one of the other challenges is the amount of data that we have to provision into different environments for our customers to interact with it is a big challenge. It's cost, and security becomes very, very critical at that point.
Well, excellent. Well, we're excited to work with you on your data sharing initiatives, and thanks for participating.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, as you heard from Kumar, data sharing at scale can be challenging, and here are some other reasons why traditional data sharing techniques don't meet today's needs. First, traditional data sharing requires batch data pipelines. So if you think about it, you have to extract data from databases, put it in flat files, send them to the consumer, and they're re-ingested into another database. These are expensive pipelines, and any changes to the data can cause these pipelines to break. As Kumar mentioned, multiple copies of the data is unnecessary cost, especially when you're dealing with multi-petabyte data sets. Now, the time required to process all of this data means that it's late and it leads to less timely business decisions. Traditional data sharing techniques also bypass your governance process. As a provider of data, how do you know how it's being used? And finally, if you want to monetize your data, how do you manage subscriptions? How do you manage entitlements to that data? Now, altogether, and these challenges mean that organizations are really unable to realize the true potential to transform their business through shared data. Now, to address some of these limitations, we're introducing Google Cloud Analytics Hub. Analytics Hub is a new service that helps organizations unlock the value of data sharing, leading to new insights and business value. With Analytics Hub, you create a rich data ecosystem by publishing and subscribing to analytics-ready data sets. And because the data is shared in place, data providers are able to control and monitor how their data is being used. Analytics Hub provides a self-service way to access valuable and trusted data assets, including data provided by Google. And finally, Analytics Hub provides an opportunity for organizations to monetize their data assets. We hear from customers who have valuable data, but don't want to deal with the overhead of setting up the infrastructure to bill or set up subscriptions that's required for monetization. And our goal is to enable you to offer data to your customers and manage that data delivery process. While Analytics Hub is a new service, it's built on top of BigQuery, Google's petabyte scale serverless cloud data warehouse. Now, why did we choose BigQuery? Well, the key reason was BigQuery's unique architecture. As you can see from the diagram, BigQuery completely separates compute and storage. And this means that data providers can store the data and pay for the storage, whilst as many subscribers as they want can run queries against that data. And it doesn't require multiple copies. So this is a unique value for the BigQuery architecture. In addition to separation of compute and storage, Analytics Hub lets you take advantage of other features of BigQuery. So on the left here, you see some of the enterprise capabilities, including a full cloud scale data warehouse, ANSI SQL compliance, high availability, durability, and security. So all the things you'd expect out of a cloud scale data warehouse. Now, in addition, with BigQuery, there's no servers to manage or deploy. So as a data provider, you don't have to worry about your consumers having to spin up clusters, upgrading software, any of that. And with BigQuery, you can consume data in real time using the streaming capabilities of BigQuery. You can leverage machine learning, geospatial, BI engine, all the advanced capabilities of BigQuery. And you can integrate it with tools like Looker, Google Sheets, and Data Studio, all in one environment. The other great thing about building on BigQuery is BigQuery makes it incredibly easy to exchange data between organizations. Now, BigQuery has had cross-organizational in-place sharing since the beginning. For example, we took a look at recent usage metrics in BigQuery and found that over a 7-day period, we had over 3,000 different organizations sharing over 200 petabytes of data. And these numbers don't include data sharing between departments within the same organization. So as you can see, data sharing in BigQuery is already popular, but we want to make it easier and even more scalable. To make data sharing easier and more scalable in BigQuery, we're introducing the concept of shared data sets. Now think about a shared data set as a contract between data publishers and data subscribers. And as a publisher, you define the collection of tables and views that you want to deliver to your subscribers. Now on the subscriber side, when you subscribe to a shared data set, you get a corresponding linked data set inside your project. And this is not a copy of the data, it's a secure pointer to the same underlying BigQuery storage. And from a subscriber point of view, it looks like any other data set in your project, except that it's read-only. and you can join it with your own data for shared insights. And when a subscriber queries a linked data set, the subscriber pays for the query, while the publisher is paying for a single storage of that data. A single shared data set can have hundreds or thousands of linked data sets, and the provider can add new data, add new tables, add new columns to the shared data set, and they're immediately available to subscribers. In addition, the publisher can track subscribers, disable subscriptions, and see aggregated usage information about the shared data. For example, which tables are being queried the most frequently? How many rows or gigabytes of data are being queried by my subscribers? All this is directly available to the data publisher. While shared data sets in BigQuery are the foundation of Analytics Hub, exchanges are how we scale and enable self-service access to data. So the listings for shared data sets are published into something called an exchange. And with an exchange, you don't have to explicitly grant access to every shared data set. Instead, subscribers can search through the listings, discover data that they have access to, and subscribe in a self-service way. Now, when you publish to an exchange, there's no copying of the data. You're just providing a reference to the data along with descriptive information that helps subscribers find and use your data. By default, exchanges are completely private, which means that only the users and groups that you've given access to can view or subscribe to data. However, you can create an internal exchange that's available to others in your organization, a restricted exchange, or even a public exchange. The exchange administrator determines the visibility and the membership of an exchange. Now, when subscribers are looking for data, they can browse or search across all the exchanges that they have access to. This provides them a uniform way to discover and subscribe to shared data. Now, when we put it all together, this is the end-to-end architecture of Analytics Hub. Starting on the left, data publishers load data into BigQuery and then create shared data sets which contain the information that they want to share. They publish these data sets into an exchange with additional information about the data. For example, how often it's updated, or what are the sample queries that you might run on this data. And on the right, you see the data subscriber. They search through listings across multiple exchanges and then subscribe to relevant data sets. This creates a linked data set in their project that they can query and join with their own data. What I'd like to do now is preview the end-to-end user experience that's coming in the first version of Analytics Hub. In this walkthrough, I'll show the experience for 3 different roles. The first is the exchange administrator. This is the role that's responsible for the curation of data listings and defining security policies around the data. The second role is the data publisher. Now, this is typically a data engineer or a group that's responsible for defining the data sets and keeping them up to date. In smaller organizations, the exchange administrator and the data publisher could be the same person. And the third role is the data subscriber. This is typically a data analyst who's looking for shared data that they can combine with their own data for new insights. They may want to use this data to power business intelligence reports and dashboards. So this is the view of the exchange administrator. They're logged into the BigQuery console, and they want to create a new exchange for data sharing. So they give their exchange a name, give it a set of permissions that specify who gets to administer the exchange, who gets to publish to the exchange, and who gets to subscribe. Now the exchange is ready to go, and we'll switch over to the role of the data publisher. So here, once again, I'm in the BigQuery console, and I can see that I've got a shared data set here called shared product sales, and I want to make that available to others, either in my organization or outside. So I say publish data set, and now I'm going to create a listing. Now, once again, the listing is not a copy of the data, it's just metadata. It's information about this particular data set. So I give it a name, I give it a description, and I can give it a URL for more information, and for example, sample queries that you might run against this data. And this is really just to help subscribers know that this data is relevant to them, and then they should subscribe to it. So now my listing is ready for subscribers. I'm going to switch over to the subscriber role. So this is, for example, a data analyst. Here, once again, in the BigQuery console. But I'm looking at my data, and I've got a consumer a data consumer project here called Dataset 1, and I'm going to subscribe to some data. And I'm going to do that through Analytics Hub. So you can see here the set of data that is available to me as a subscriber. I have access to 3 exchanges and 5 results come up. I could use keyword search. I could filter this by exchange. I'm interested in this product sales data. So I'll click on that one. And I get a card that displays some additional information about that. Now, one of the things of note is that it's letting me know that as I use this data, that aggregated usage metrics are going to be provided back to the data publisher. We're not going to share any personal data, but we will provide metrics back. So I'm going to say yes, add this to my data set. And now I've got it right in my project, sitting along with data that I've created. And I can join the 2 data sets together for shared insights. So that gives you an example of the end-to-end capabilities that we'll have in the first version of Analytics Hub. What you can see is that Analytics Hub makes it easy to publish, discover, and subscribe to valuable data sets that you can combine with your own data for unique insights. Let's talk about some of the data that will be available in Analytics Hub. The first is public data. We'll provide easy access to the repository of over 100 public data sets, including data about things like weather, climate, cryptocurrency, healthcare, life sciences, transportation. The next area is Google data. We're excited to offer unique, freely available data sets from Google through Analytics Hub. So one example of this is the COVID-19 Community Mobility data set. And another one we're excited to make available is the Google Search Trends data. We'll cover that in just a minute. We're also working with organizations in different industries to provide industry exchanges, which will allow you to benchmark your data against aggregated companies in your industry. We're working also with commercial data providers to make their data offerings available through Analytics Hub. And finally, you can leverage Analytics Hub for your own internal exchanges. We know that data sharing can be challenging in large organizations. Let's say you want to share standardized customer demographics to your data science teams. You can use Analytics Hub to do this. So we're excited to announce that we'll be working with Crux Informatics. They're a leader in data delivery and operations to bring valuable data assets to Analytics Hub. And here's a quote from Will Freiberg, the CEO at Crux, describing how our partnership will accelerate access to valuable data through Analytics Hub. As I mentioned before, we're excited also to announce the upcoming availability of the Google Trends dataset. Now, this is the same data that you would see in the Google Trends website, but in a direct queryable form. We'll provide top 25 terms and 25 rising terms over a 5-year window in 210 distinct locations. Now, this trends data can be used by anyone in the organization to gain insights into what customers care about. Here's a quote from Dee Mays, Global Head of Data and AI at WPP, who's leveraging the power of BigQuery and the Google Data Cloud. As you can see, WPP is excited to use the new trends data and Analytics Hub to gain new insights into what people are interested in. Now, this is just the beginning for Analytics Hub. I want to give you a sneak peek of what we're working on as we get to general availability and beyond. We'll start with core publishing, discovery, and subscriptions for shared data sets. Next, we'll add workflows for publishing and subscribing. This enables organizations to implement approval processes for end users to get access to certain types of data. After that, we'll support publishing analytics along with the data. Think about not only getting the shared data, but getting a set of reports and dashboards that you can use as a starting point for your own analytics. Next is the ability to provide for data providers to specify restrictions on the usage of their data. For example, limiting the ability of subscribers to export data out of the BigQuery. Finally, we recognize that not everyone is a Google Cloud customer, so we want to make it easy for data providers to create sandbox environments for subscribers to work with their data, even if they're not yet on Google Cloud. And then the last item is the monetization of data. So we want to make it easy for you to manage subscriptions, data entitlements, and billing. So as you can see, we have an exciting set of features planned out for Analytics Hub. Now, Analytics Hub is not yet available, so we're asking you to sign up for the preview, which is scheduled to be available in the third quarter of 2021. Please go to g.co/cloud/analytics-hub to let us know that you're interested. On behalf of the BigQuery team here at Google, thank you for joining.